possess the matrix of leadership, as it was passed to me.
I can't deal with that now.
Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime back for another Transformers action figure video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Studio Series Transformers, the movie Ultra Magnus, our first Commander class in the Studio Series. So anyway, we got a lot to cover, so let's just get right on into it by starting with the packaging, and then we'll go into the accessories. And now, just briefly taking a look at Magnus's packaging. Right up front here, we got a very nice image of Ultra Magnus right there on the front. It says he's Ultra Magnus, in case you forgot the name of this guy. It says 8621, Transformers Generations, Transformers the movie, with an Autobot shuttle over there. Got another image of Magnus. Authentic Transformers! Anyway, now that my seizure is over, continuing to look at the box, you got a bunch of product images and such that just show some of the features on this figure that we'll be covering throughout the review. That is basically it for the packaging, mostly. Ultra Magnus comes with one of the biggest cardboard backdrops I've seen so far, and it's of them trying to escape on the Autobot shuttle, and you can easily just place Ultra Magnus right in there for some nice display options. And now with the cardboard backdrop out of the way, let's get right on into the rest of Magnus's accessories. First of all, Magnus here comes with the exact same set of blast effects that were included with Skylinks and Omega Supreme and a bunch of other figures. So very nice to get some more blast effects. I always love getting more blast effects for my figures. Magnus comes with these really awesome looking guns here. They're cast in a white and transparent plastic, but they're painted up in this very nice metallic paint, and what I love about these so much is that they're not hollow in any way. They're completely sealed up. It really makes it feel a lot like masterpiece level kind of weaponry. Really love how these look. Definitely a lot better than the Siege Ultra Magnus. The blasters here do have some storage that you can put them on Ultra Magnus's back. First off, this one has a little notch that goes into this slot up here. So you can have that one on his back, and then there's a big slot right there that you can stick this one, put it in his ass. Magnus's iconic shoulder rockets are also separate accessories this time around, and what's really cool is they do have, the rockets are separate pieces from the actual accessories, so that's pretty sweet. Allows for some ways to get creative with the blast effects. Jack, what are you doing? I'm in the middle of a review, you know. Shoulder rockets obviously just peg onto his shoulders, just as they traditionally do for Ultra Magnuses in the past. And then finally, Ultra Magnus has a spring-loaded matrix chamber, which actually looks really cool. There is a ton of painted-in detail in this matrix chamber. It looks really cool. And you can take Magnus's little matrix and you can stick it right in there. And then you can close it up, and that is pretty sweet. And again, very nice, dramatic opening there of Ultra Magnus's chest cavity. Really cool. Except, though, I don't really trust Ultra Magnus with the Matrix of Leadership. As soon as he got it in the movie, he puts it in upside down. Magnus, you had one job. Before we move away from the accessories, one thing I don't understand is for some reason the figure has his antenna things as separate parts in the box. And there's literally like no good reason as to why they did this. I mean, you don't have to remove these for the transformation, and like there's no feature that you kind of do with these. It's not accurate to the original toy in any way. It's not a feature from the movie. Like, I just don't understand why they made these separate parts. I mean, I guess you could probably use these like as some sort of like battle damage thing, like he got like an antenna blown off, but like I don't know why they did this.
We need answers, okay? What did you gain from that?
The only worry I have about this is that these connections might get loose over time, and so some of these might start falling off of his head, but for now, they seem pretty sturdy enough. And now, finally taking an actual close-up look at Ultra Magnus. I love the head sculpt here, looks very accurate to the cartoon. Love the like slight metallic sheen on his face, just makes a little bit of difference between his face and the white plastic. And of course, I really love those blue eyes, but what I especially love is this guy actually has some really effective light piping. The only thing I don't really appreciate about Ultra Magnus is his head is so isolated in this huge plateau of shoulders that if you try to make him look downwards, he just ends up looking into his own chest, and I have no idea how he talks to people that are shorter than him like this. And he can do this too, for some reason. He can look up pretty far, I'd say. I still appreciate that Hasbro and the designers threw in a lot of these extra little panel lines and details. Like, it's not completely smooth. I still love that they gave him a lot of this mechanical detailing, which looks really well done, especially here on the back. His back is actually really clean, as you guys kind of saw briefly before. Even got a little bit of some silver paint detail, and again, just very smooth looking. There's like zero kibble on this guy. Everything looks really good. The transparent red windows are a little weird, but I don't hate them either. And you've got the nice cleanly printed Autobot symbol right there. And again, the white plastic here, to my knowledge, isn't going to yellow or anything. Hasbro supposedly fixed that problem already. And then I love the hands right here. And again, a lot of that mechanical detail really carries over. Again, reminds me a lot of like the Siege trilogy. Lots of great mechanical detail without being really overbearing about it.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
I only just realized now that I mistransformed his abdomen. So, as I mentioned before, he's got a nice ball joint at the head, which allows for his head to swivel from side to side. Little bit of head pivoting. Can look up very far, and he can look down again. Have no idea how he can put up with that. His shoulders can move outward that far, and I really appreciate it because the shoulder pads are not hitting himself in the head. And also, if you untab this little transformation joint right here, if you untab this, you can give him some unofficial butterfly joint movement. Just, make sure you keep that tabbed in when not in use. The shoulders can rotate a full 360 on these ratcheting joints. Just be careful that when you're moving his shoulders back that you don't untab this little feature right there. Magnus does feature a bicep swivel, 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. His wrists can rotate, as you can see, but one of the coolest features is he does have some nice articulated fingers, just like the Commander class Rodimus. He has a bend at the knuckle of his index finger, and that knuckle can bend in, and then he also has a bend at the knuckle on the other three fingers. Very similar to Masterpiece figures. Ultra Magnus has a very nice waist swivel, and it's a nice waist swivel to the point where it's not too tight, but it's also not too loose either.
That's what she said!
Very perfect. And then he does have these back skirts, side skirts, and this front skirt, which can all move out, which allows for the legs to rotate forward on a soft ratchet. They can rotate back that far. They can move outward that far. He does get a thigh swivel. 90 degrees of bend at the knee. If you untab this one little bit right here, it gives you just that teeny little bit over 90 degrees. And then, finally, this guy has some very slight ankle pivot. And now for some Commander class size comparisons, just so you guys can get a general idea of how big this guy is. Here he is compared next to the Commander class Rodimus Prime, and then the Commander class Jetfire. Again, even though this guy isn't as big as Jetfire, I still think he's a much better Commander class, at least in terms of scale, than this guy was. Here he is compared next to the far inferior Siege Ultra Magnus. And then here he is with Siege Voyager Springer, and then the Deluxe Class Perceptor. So yeah, that's it for comparison.
Magnus! I want the Matrix! Never!
Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, Magnus also has that feature, like with 86 Cup, where you can reenact his own death scene. For the kids. Definitely was rubbing salt in the wound when Magnus dies in the movie and just gets brought back to life like it's nothing, and then Optimus died and they never even gave him a chance to bring him back. And now taking a look at Ultra Magnus in his vehicle mode. And yeah, I think it is pretty G1 accurate right off the bat. I'll at least mention that. I do think it's a very nice looking truck mode. But the most impressive thing I find about this thing is the fact that the truck cab is its own separate vehicle. Like, even though this is one big Transformers robot, I find it really cool how the truck is its own vehicle, which is also really cool considering that it doesn't have the core white prime thing inside of it this time around, which, honestly, that thing was more of a hindrance than anything else in the previous incarnations of Magnus. It was cool for a while, but then it really started to hinder on Magnus's engineering. And the trailer itself is pretty weighty, looks pretty sweet. I like the Autobot logo right here. A lot of the mechanical details I mentioned before carries over. Looks very nice. And of course, I should mention, this does incorporate the play feature where you can have other vehicles placed on the truck. I mean, that is the whole point. Ultra Magnus transforms into one of those, those carrier trucks. As you can see, you can fit some figures on there. I think you can probably fit maybe like 2 Deluxes on the top, maybe like 2 Deluxes or a Voyager on the bottom. Like, it looks like you can hold quite a bit of them, but yeah, there's a lot of playability here to be had with Ultra Magnus's vehicle mode and some of your other figures in your collection. Yeah, I really like the way how this little trailer came out and the rig, like everything, it's a really nice vehicle mode. And again, I'm feeling a lot more of that Commander class value here for this guy than I was with Rodimus. I also like how you can either have the truck locked into here, or you can have it extended out, and you can actually rotate the rig. Like, I think that's also a really cool feature right there. And of course, you can take his rocket launchers and stick those right there, and as for his guns, you can just stick them wherever you can find a 5mm port. It's all fun in games at this point. And now, doing the rest of the comparisons, here is Ultra Magnus compared next to the Commander class Rodimus Prime with his trailer. As you can see, they are roughly about the same height and scale, roughly, give or take. Here's Ultra Magnus compared next to the Siege Voyager Springer, Deluxe Class Preceptor. Here he is compared next to the far inferior Siege Ultra Magnus, and Jetfire. And yeah, that is basically it for my review on the Studio Series Transformers the Movie Commander Class Ultra Magnus. And yes, I will say this, the Magnus is a lot better than the Siege version. The Siege version is completely blown away by this one. I think this one is vastly superior in both articulation, detail, accessories. Like, I genuinely think this one is better. I do really appreciate Magnus's vehicle mode. It's a very, very well put together truck. I love the trailer and how it like actually separates from a rig, and again, the detail on it is immaculate. I love how it looks. And again, I'm getting a lot more of that Commander class value here than I have been for other Commander class figures. Like, I'm just as satisfied. Stupid microphone. I give this guy a solid 9 out of 10, by the way. That's basically it for this review. If you guys liked it, give me a like on the video. Comment below what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel for more Transformers and action figure videos. And I'll catch you guys next time.